Okay, so today I'm going to be making a basket weave messy bun hat. I'm going to be using this 4 Seasons Marble Denim Effects. It's 12 ply, 100% acrylic, and I'll be using a 5.5mm hook. So to start with, what we're going to do is do enough chains to fit round the width of our head. So for me, that's going to be 66, but you can add or minus off stitches as you need. They just need to be in multiples of 3 for this to work. So as many as you need, but in multiples of 3. So to start with, we're just going to do a slip stitch. So easiest way I find to do a slip stitch, lay your yarn out like this. This is our end and this is our ball. Put this one straight over there. Put your fingers just through this hole and reach through and grab this yarn. And now we're just going to pull that through and pull that tight. So that is our slip stitch. Now to chain, all we do, yarn over, hold this tail here to make it a bit easier, and just pull that straight through that loop. And that is one chain. So again, we put our yarn over, hold the end, and pull it straight through. So yarn over, straight through there. Okay, yarn over, pull it straight through there. Okay, so that is now 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do 66 of these and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I've just done my 66 chains. So the next thing we're going to do is connect those to make a loop. So when I do my initial row, I like to do it instead of into these stitches here. I prefer to do it into this back hump. So not into the front here, into this back. So I find that doing it in there, you just end up then that this is the look of your edging, and I just think it looks way nicer. So instead of, say, having the stitch here and that would be the look of our edging, it means our stitch is in the back here and that's the edging. It just looks a lot nicer in the end. So to do this, you just want to straighten out your chain, make sure there's no twists, and bring the edges together. Now, if I was to slip stitch right into it now, I find that this end bit ends up twisted. So what I usually do is take out my hook and then I put it back in from the other direction. So I'll just do that again. So this is how it was. So I'm going to take it out and then I'm going to put it in from the other way. I'm just flipping it over. So I find that this stops it from twisting when we get to the end. So straighten out that chain and bring your ends together. Now, we're going to slip stitch straight into that first hump. So you can see these sort of ridges here. They're your back humps. So this is our first one here. So we're going to slip stitch straight into that one. Okay. So we yarn over, pull through, and then pull straight through. So that is our slip stitch there. And then we're going to chain one. Okay, so we've just joined it. We've slip stitched straight in. So the first thing we're going to do is go straight back into that same stitch and we're going to do a single crochet. So we go through, we yarn over, pull up a loop, we yarn over, and we pull through both of those. So we've done a slip stitch and a single crochet. So what we're going to do next is do a whole row of single crochets into the back hump in every single one here. So to find your next one, that's the stitch we've just done. That hump there is going to be our next one. So we're going to go into there. Now I find they can be quite tight and hard to get into. So I usually sort of use my fingernail to flip them over. So we're going to go into there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through 2. Single crochet. So again, that's the one we've just done. And this is our next hump there. So we're going to go into that one, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through 2. So we want to find our next one. That's what we've just done. That one there's our next one. Go into that one. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both. Okay. So we're going to keep doing single crochets the whole way around, and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so I've done 64 single crochets. So I've got just 2 left here, these last 2 humps. Okay, so I'm just going to go to there, single crochet, and my very last one is this hump here, into there, and single crochet. Okay, so that's our first row. So what we're going to do is this first stitch here. So you can see this one here is our first single crochet. So this is our chain 1 and this is our single crochet. So I'm going to come into this stitch, that first single crochet, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull it through and go straight through there. Slip stitch, and we're going to chain 2. Okay, so that is our first row, and we've created our loop. So what you want to do now, put this on your head, make sure it's the right size, make sure it's all comfortable before you go any further. So what I was saying about doing it in that back hump, you can see here, this is just quite a nice edging. I just think this looks so much nicer to do it this way. And I do find that that first row, I think, is one of my most time consuming, and I find it one of the hardest because I find those stitches quite hard to get into. But from now, this pattern is quite easy. It's just the same stitches, just in a repetition. So it's quite simple. So row 2, we're going to do a row of double crochets. So to start with, we're going to go straight back into that same stitch that we've just slip stitched into. So this here. So these are our chain 2s. That one there is where we'll be going. So for a double crochet, we yarn over first. We're going to go into there, yarn over and pull up a loop. So we've got 3 loops on there. Put our yarn over, go through 2 loops, put our yarn over, and go through 2 loops. That is a double crochet. So again, yarn over, going to go into our next stitch here. So see, this is what the top of our stitches look like. That hole is where we're going to be going. Into there, we put our yarn over and we pull that loop through. We've got 3. Yarn over, pull through 2 of them, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So we've got 2 double crochets now. So yarn over, that's our next stitch. So we will go into here, yarn over, pull that loop through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. Okay, so we're going to keep doing that the whole way along, double crochet in every stitch along, and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so I'm just at the end of my row now. So I've got 2 stitches left here. So I'm just going to double crochet. And this is my last stitch just here. So I'm going to double crochet into that one. And then we're going to find, so this is where we slip stitched, and we've got our 2 chains, and that's our first stitch. So this here is our first double crochet, and that's our first stitch. So I'm going to stick my hook into there, and we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch. So one more time. So I'm going to stick my hook into that first stitch, yarn over, pull that loop through, and straight through there. 1 slip stitch, and chain 2. So what we're going to be doing now to do the band, and for most of the rest of the hat actually, is doing front post double crochets and back post double crochets. So same stitch as what we did, we just place it in a different place. So these here are called your posts. So to do a front post, we would be pulling that post to the front. To do a back post, we would be coming round from the back and pushing that post to the back. So this is our chains, our chain row where we've just added. That's our first post just there. So chains where we've added our chains and our first one. So the first one we're going to do is a front post. So we're going to yarn over. Then we're going to come into here, come round that post and push the post to the front. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through a loop. So we've got 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go through 2. We're going to yarn over and we're going to go through 2. So that's a front post double crochet. So you can see here, that's our chain row, that's our post, and we've gone around the front of the post. So now yarn over. The next one we're going to do is a back post. So instead of coming through here and pushing it to the front like we just did, we're going to be on the back there instead. So you've got your yarn over, you're going to put your hook through that hole and come through. Come around the post. So I'm sticking my hook back through there and you can see that there is my post. So one more time. Coming through here, through the other side and pushing that post to the back. Now we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull a loop through. We've got 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, in, pull through 2. So front post here, we have a back post there. So see, that one's going to stand out on the back, that one's going to stand out on the front. So what we're going to do for the remainder of the band, we're going to do 2 front, 1 back, 2 front, 1 back, 2 front, 1 back. I'm going to do that all the way around. So we'll do these first ones together. So we're going to yarn over. Now we're going to find our next stitch. So we just put a back post in this one. This is our next post. We're doing a front post. So we're going to come in, push that post to the front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1 front post. So again, we're going to go yarn over, find our next stitch. We just put a post in there. It's this one here. We're going to go around and pull it to the front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So we've just done 2 front posts there. So this next one, we're going to do a back. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to put our hook around the back, come to the front there, come out the other side of that post, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so we have front, back, front, front, back. So now we're going to go 2 fronts, 1 back. So yarn over, front post, yarn over, front post, and now we're back. yarn over, and back post. Okay, so keep doing that, 2 fronts, back, 2 fronts, back, until you get to the end, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row now. I've just got 2 posts left. So I've got 2 front, so I'm going to be doing a back and a front. So back post and front post in our last one here. Okay, so you can see here we've got our chain here, and that there is our first post. So if we follow that post to the top, we'll see our stitch just here. So this here is our chain row, our slip stitch, our chain 2, and our first stitch. So I'm going to go into that first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and straight through to slip stitch and chain 2. Okay, so this is how it should look so far. So our first row is our single crochets, our second row was our double crochets, and then our third row has been our front post and our back post double crochets. So what we're going to do now is do the exact same thing around. So everywhere you have a front post, you'll do a front post, and everywhere you have a back post, you'll do a back post. So really simple. So front post into front post, we just do that all over again. Back post into back post. These are front posts, so I will do front post. Another front post there, so I will do another front post. Back post here, so I'll do a back post double crochet. Okay, so again, front post double crochets onto our front post double crochets, back post double crochet onto our back post double crochets. So we're going to do that the whole way around. Back post, 2 front posts, back post, 2 front posts, all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I'm just at the end of row 4 here. So I've got back post and a front post left. So just going to back post double crochet and front post double crochet. And then we will slip stitch to finish off row 4. So you can see there's our chains. That's our first front post. So we've got our chains, our chain 2, and the top of the post, our first stitch just there. So slip stitch into that, yarn over, pull through, and chain 2. Okay, so that is the end of row 4. So you can see our band starting to take a bit of shape. So we're going to do the exact same thing one more time for row 5. So far we've got our row of single crochets, row 1. We did a row of double crochets, row 2. Row 3 was a row of front post, back post double crochets. Row 4 was the same. And now 5, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we have 3 rows all together of our front post, back post, double crochets. So same thing, one more time round. Front post double crochets in the front post double crochets. Back post double crochets in the back post double crochets. 2 front posts. All the way to the end. So another row of front post double crochets in the front post, back post double crochets in the back post. And I'll meet you at the end here. Okay, so I'm at the end of row 5. I've just got my back post and my front post to go. So back post double crochet, front post double crochet. Now, follow our chain row. We've got our 2 chains and our first stitch. So I'm going to go into that stitch, yarn over, and slip stitch. Chain 1 this time. Okay, so to finish off the band, we're going to do a row of single crochets. That's going to be row 6. So to do this, I'm going to go straight back into this first stitch here where we've just slip stitched. Right into that one there, straight into that hole. We're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, single crochet. Into the next stitch here, so that one's our back post there, our next stitch. Through there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. Okay, into our next stitch here, and a single crochet. So we're going to single crochet the whole way along in every single stitch, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm at the end again with my last 2 stitches. So I'm just going to do my last 2 single crochets. Okay, and into my first single crochet here. So you can see here, it's my slip stitch, my chain 1, and my first single crochet. I'm going to come into that first single crochet, yarn over, pull through a loop, and slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 2. Okay, so that is our band. It's our band finished. Now there's so many different ways you can do bands for beanies and messy bun hats. I find this front post, back post double crochet one just to be the fastest really. I find a lot of other bands I've made end up stretching quite a lot and they lose their shape after you've been wearing them. I find this one doesn't tend to stretch as much and it is just way quicker, I think, to make. So I tend to do these because it's still quite a nice effect and it takes me a third of the time than if I was to crochet a whole band to then crochet together. I find this a lot faster. So what we're going to do now is start on the actual body of the hat. So it's quite a repetition of the pattern. It's quite simple. So we're going to be doing the same stitches, the front post, back post, double crochets. So to start with, for our body of our hat, we just need to do a row of double crochets and then we can start our pattern from there. So it'll be the same as what we did when we were down this end. We did our row of single crochets and then our row of double crochets. We're going to be doing the exact same thing. So we'll yarn over, straight back into that first stitch here where we've just slip stitched. Going to come through, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So that's our first double crochet. So then this one here is our next stitch. Yarn over, into that stitch there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 2 double crochets. Our next stitch just here, yarn over, into there, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, so do 1 row of double crochets and then meet me at the end. Okay, so I'm at the end of my double crochet round. I've just got my last 2 stitches. So I'll just do those last 2 double crochets. And last one. And slip stitching into the top of that first double crochet. In chain 2. All right, so now we move on to the body of the hat. So the whole pattern for the body of the hat is just a repetition of 3 front post double crochets and 3 back post double crochets. And then we just alternate them. So to start off with for this round, we're going to be doing 3 front post and then 3 back post. So same thing as what we were doing down here, same stitch. So the first three, we're going to do 3 front post. So in our first post here, we'll do 1 front post double crochet, 2 front post double crochets, and 3 front post double crochets. So that's our 3 front post double crochets. Now we're going to move on and do 3 back post double crochets. Okay, so 3 front, 3 back, and we'll do 3 front again. Now we'd be up to 3 back. So we're just going 3 front post double crochets, 3 back post double crochets, 3 front post, all the way around. So we're going to end up doing this twice. So we'll do 2 rounds of this, and then I will meet you back here at the end after you've done 2 rows of 3 front post double crochets, 3 back post double crochets, 2 rounds of that, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm just at the end of the row. So I've got 2 more back post double crochets to go. And slip stitching into my first post and chaining 2. Okay, so this is how it should be looking. So what we've got is our first row of double crochets. Then we've done 1 row of front post and back post double crochets and another row of front post, back post double crochets. So at the moment, you should have your 3 rows there. So this is the beginning of our pattern. So what we do from now is just alternate this pattern. So where we've got front post double crochets at the moment, we're going to do back post, and where we've got back post, we're going to do front post. So for these next 3 rows, we're going to alternate what we've just done. So I'll show you what I mean. So for these first 3 front post double crochets, we're going to do 3 back post double crochets. Oh. Okay, so 3 back post double crochets on those front post double crochets. So now our next 3 back post double crochets, we're going to do 3 front post double crochets. So we're alternating what there was on that last round. Now we're up to our 3 front post, which means we'll do 3 back post. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this round. Putting back post double crochets where our front post double crochets were, and putting front post double crochets where our back post double crochets were. So do that all the way to the end of this round, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm just at the end of my row here. I've just got 2 more front post double crochets to go. And slip stitching into that first stitch. And chaining 2. Okay, so now we've alternated the direction that they're going. What we're going to do for the next 2 rows is do back post double crochets where you have back post double crochets and front post double crochets where you have front post double crochets. So the beginning here, we've got 3 back posts. So we'll be doing 3 back post double crochets. And then these next 3, we've got front post. So we'll do 3 front post double crochets. And then our next one's a back, so we would move on to backs. So you can see that the pattern is starting to take a bit of shape here. So what we're going to do now for the rest of this row and then for the next row is do your back post double crochets where you have back post double crochets, front post double crochets where you have front post double crochets. So finish this row, do one more the exact same, and I will meet you at the end here. All right, so I'm just at the end of this row. I'll do my last 2 front post double crochets. And slip stitch into that first one. Chain 2. Okay, so this is how it should be looking. So we just did our alternating direction round there, and then we've done our 2 rounds of front post double crochets and back post double crochets. So you can see the pattern now, how it's starting to look. So what we're going to do now is do basically this again. So how we keep this pattern going, our first round now would be our alternating direction round. So where we've got our back post double crochets, we're going to do our front post double crochets, and where we've got our front post double crochets, we'll do our back post double crochets. So right now I'm on that alternating round. So we'll do 1 round of this, and then we do 2 rounds of putting front post double crochets in front post double crochets and back post double crochets in back post double crochets. And then we're up to our alternating round again. So we'll alternate the direction, and then we'll do another 2 rows of putting the same posts in the same posts. And that will get us this a second time. So on this one, we'll be starting with our alternating. So I'm going to be putting my front post into my back post double crochets. And my back post into my front post double crochets. Okay, so I'm going to finish this alternating row. I'm going to do my 2 more rows of front post in my front post, back post in my back post. Then I'm going to swap and do my alternating round. So I'll be putting back post in my front post and front post in my back post. And then I'll do 2 more rounds of doing the same front post double crochets in front post double crochets and back post double crochets in back post double crochets. And I will meet you at the end of that. Okay, so I'm at the end of those 6 rows that we've just done. So these 3 and these 3. So this is the pattern. This is how it should be looking at the moment. So what we're up to now is our alternating row again, but on this row we're going to be doing a decrease. So how we're going to do that is stick with our alternating. So at the moment we've got back post here, so we'll be doing front post, but we'll be decreasing. So I'll show you how to do that. So our back posts are here, which mean we'll be doing front posts. So I'm going to start by doing 1 front post double crochet. And then in these next 2, we're going to do 2 together. So how we do that is yarn over. We go into that front post like normal. We yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now instead of closing it here like we usually would, we yarn over and we go into the next post. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So we now should have 4 on the hook. We yarn over, we go through 2. We've now got 3. We yarn over and we go through all 3. So what we did there is 1 front post double crochet and then 2 front post double crochets together. So you can see now there's just 1 stitch for those 2. So for these next ones, our front post double crochets, we're alternating, so we'll be doing back posts. So I'm going to do 1 back post double crochet in the first one. And then in these next 2, I'm going to do 2 together. So yarn over. We're going to do the first half, so yarn over and pull up a loop. 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. That's our first one. Yarn over into the second post. Yarn over, pull through a loop, 4 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through all 3. And so that's how we do that. So we're going to go this whole round by going 1, front post double crochet, and then 2 together. And then in this next one, we're going to go 1 back post double crochet, and then 2 back post double crochets together. Okay, so go around this row doing our alternating from our front post double crochets to back post double crochets, but doing 1 normal and then 2 together. 1 normal, 2 together. So do that round and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm just at the end of my row. I've just got my last 2 back post double crochets together. And slip stitching into the first stitch and chain 2. Okay, so we've decreased now for that one, so we're going to do another round of decreasing. So what we're going to do for this one is we'll be doing front post where there's front post and back post where there's back post again, keeping the same theme of our pattern, but we'll be doing all of them together. So here where we've got our front post this time, we're going to be doing 2 front posts together. So yarn over, we're going to go around this first post we've got, pull up a loop, yarn over and go through 2. Now here you can see where we've got our 2 together. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to go round it. That's now, those 2 posts have turned into 1 on our last round. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So we've just gone 2 together for both stitches. So now we're on to the back. So yarn over, go through our first post, yarn over, and now we're going to go a back post around that last back post 2 together we did. Go through 2, go through 3. So we're going 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, 2 together. So front post double crochet 2 together on your front post double crochet, back post double crochet 2 together on your back post double crochet. So do that and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I'm at my last 2 back post double crochet 2 togethers. And 2. And I'm going to slip stitch into that first one and chain 1. Now for our final round, what we're going to be doing is a row of single crochet with a single crochet 2 together on the 5th stitch. So what we'll be doing for that is straight into this first stitch, we're going to single crochet, second single crochet, third single crochet, and 4th single crochet. So now for our 5th and our 6th stitch, we'll be doing a single crochet 2 together. So we go into the stitch, pull up a loop, we go into our next stitch, pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on the hook, we yarn over and we close all 3. So that's our single crochet 2 together. So now we move on to the next stitch and we do another 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to do 2 together again. Into the stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 on our hook, yarn over, close them all. 4 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 together, pull up a loop from the next stitch, close all 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet there. slip stitch. Now I'm going to cut this yarn, leaving a tail long enough to weave in. And we're going to pull that through and pull that tight. Okay, so we're all finished. So what we're going to do now is weave in this tail and we're going to weave in this tail, and then we've finished our hat. Okay, so for me, the hat measures at about 16 centimeters or 6.5 inches. So I find that size is okay, but if you needed it to be a bit longer, you can always add some extra rows in before you start decreasing. So what we're going to do now is weave in the tails. So to do that, turn the hat inside out. And you're going to need a darning needle. So what we do, that one through your needle. Now, when we're on the wrong side, we just want to weave this in so it's secure. So you just want to sort of go back and forth a few times. So where it is now, I'm just going to go into the back of these stitches and pull through. Then I'm going to come under this one. Under this one. Under here. So you basically just want to be going back and forth under a few bits just so this is secure, so that that tail's not going to end up working its way out. So just find some of the thicker pieces, just weave it back and forth. I tend to go back on itself just to make sure it's really locked in there. So I think that should be all fine. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that end off once I've gone through a few times. And then you can see that's all hidden in there. So now we just grab our other end as well and we do the same thing. Just weave that one in back and forth. Okay, and I'm going to cut that one off. Now we can turn that back inside out. And this is our completed hat. So for me, I have these little leather tags that I like to sew just onto my band in the corner there, or you could use a button or anything like that if you want to add a little detail on it. Otherwise, that is your finished hat and we're all done. So that is the basket weave messy bun hat.